Hello, streaming to you live. I'm Gordon with Unlock Your Bioenergy. Today is Thursday, March 12th, 2026. It's day number 332 wearing the incredible X39. Right there. And today I want to talk about my view of GHK and AHK. And the reason being because lots of people I think are confused about it. And I'm going to clarify my view of it. So, let's get on with it. I've got some notes here that I'm going to share. You can read along if you wish. So, GHK and AHK, basically they are peptides that you have inside your body. And when you consume the fuel, and I say the fuel, which is what you see here, glycine, histidine, and lysine, which is for GHK. These amino acids are found in a variety of food sources. They are needed by your body to formulate into a powerful peptide known as the GHK. And when GHK combines with copper within the body itself is when it becomes a powerhouse known as the GHK-Cu, copper peptide. So thus, it is important to fuel your body with foods that contain sources of copper, in addition to glycine, histidine, and lysine, those three amino acids. So the first question that may come to your mind is, what foods have these three amino acids? Well, if you have studied the PDCAA scale, it basically lists all of the amino acids, and certain foods that are higher have higher percentages of glycine, histidine, and lysine. One of those is quinoa. Now, when I eat quinoa, I actually pressure cook it, and I use the cleanest and most absorbable water, deuterium free, with a hydrogen bond angle of 114 degrees. So when I prepare this, you cook it for 6 minutes with a pressure cooker and it comes out excellent. Now, does the deuterium free water increase the power, I want to say the power of the quinoa and those amino acids? Think about acids. What is an acid? What does it have? What should it have? Well, if you know a little bit about chemistry, pH stands for possible hydrogen. And you want to have the cleanest and most absorbable version in a dried good, would you not? Because quinoa is dried. It's like it's a grain. So if you're going to rehydrate it, you might as well use the best. And in my eyes, it's deuterium free water with a hydrogen bond angle of 114 degrees. So when you consume it, are you going to get the maximum dose of glycine, histidine, and lysine from the quinoa, for example? The likelihood is probably pretty good, because I'll be honest with you, I can tell the difference, how it feels, especially when I'm exercising day to day. Because the GHK copper peptide, when it is put into use after you break down and create muscle tears in the fiber, how do you feel the following day? Do you recover? Do you feel better? Do you experience less flare-ups of certain conditions? And if you do, then you know that there is something good that's happening within your body. Because the GHK copper peptide has a very strong therapeutic effect, and it influences several thousand DNA genes inside your body, as it does inside my body. And that happens after it formulates. However, when the production of it goes dormant within the body, it is largely because your body is lacking a spark, quote unquote, to ignite the fire needed to create the peptide. And why do I describe this as a spark? Well, because I've talked about those pieces. You need multiple pieces for your body to be in a state where it's not going to compensate, but it's going to thrive health-wise and maximize your longevity. And the body is a master at compensating for things. So if it doesn't get what it needs, let's say certain amino acids such as glycine, histidine, and lysine, is it going to store it for use at a later time? Well, chances are probably, because if your eating habits are not consistent enough, you're putting your body into a state of feast and famine. So if you are fasting regularly, once, twice a week, is that too much? Then if you have to do that, then you are maybe not replenishing your body with good choices over a period of time, because like I said, your body is going to compensate for things each and every day of your life until it can't. So your choices influence how your body manages these levels of amino acids inside itself. So it's important to not let off the gas pedal, so to speak, and ensure that you're replenishing day in and day out with good water, good food sources, good rest. But then also the spark. You need to replenish the spark. So what is that spark that the body uses to ignite the process of formulating GHK copper peptide? Because like I said, there's one domino. You need the amino acids to synthesize, and then when you have copper inside the body, then they gel together, and that's when the peptide itself becomes very powerful. So what pieces are necessary? Well, you need to have the amino acids, you need to have some water, right? You need to have the hydrogen as a kind of a glue, and you need to have light. Light is the spark, so to speak, that ignites that fire inside the body. And if you're like me, who lives in Alberta, north of the 45th parallel, or according to GPS coordinates, when the wintertime comes around, the winter solstice, the sun is not around. So, how are you getting activation, vitamin D production inside the body? Well, is there a tool that's available? And yes, there is. It's this. So this is what I use to ignite that spark. This is the spark that ignites the fire inside my body to create that GHK copper peptide. Now, do I eat foods with copper in it? Yes. One of the choices is I like pitted dates. and it's a source of copper. I also like peanut butter. I've liked it. I've eaten peanut butter since I was, as long as I can remember. In elementary school, I made myself a peanut butter sandwich every single day. Now, those days, peanut butter sandwiches were probably better than they are today, especially if you purchase certain brands. They use a lot of soybean oil, which is not good, or palm oil. Palm oil is not good. It's not. Mm-mm. So if you see anything with palm oil in it, look for the next one and see if it's natural. So if they say, "Oh, I'm allergic to peanut butter," well, are you, or is it a symptom of a disruptor that is in your body that's causing it to happen, such as glyphosate? Glyphosate really kind of turns into a lot of different things. And so if you clean up the water and detox and use the water as a consistent form of detox, because it does help with that, can you maintain or reverse some symptoms that you might have? Right? Because your body needs to have some copper, and zinc and iron plays a role, so your body's going to naturally balance itself out. So have a balance, eat well balanced, and you will be putting yourself in a position where you will benefit. So when I talk about providing the fuel for the GHK, it's important. Now, where my feathers get ruffled a little bit, if you want to call it, many people think that cutting corners by injecting a pre-formulated peptide is the way to go. But why would you do this? GHK, people are spending big money to get a copper peptide. Well, if your body has lost its ability to do it, has it really? Are you spending enough time in the sunlight? Are you drinking good choices of water that influence how the peptides are produced inside the body? Because it's tied to electricity and voltage. And if you watched the episode that I shared earlier this week, I talk about voltage and how water is crucial at stimulating and creating efficiencies inside the body from a resistance standpoint. For many people out there, they know what resistance is. That means basically preventing electricity from flowing. If you have high resistance, it's not flowing. So the lower the resistance, the better it is. So does the water act as a form of lowering resistance inside the body? Well, ask yourself this question. I ask myself this question because am I seeing that in the form of my heart rate? Is my heart rate being resisted when it hits over 200? Gee, I don't know. I think that's possibly is like, is there really resistance happening, or is it just my heart able to now run like a real revving like a real engine? Because if it wasn't doing a good thing, then maybe I would be flatlining on the concrete behind me here. Could that be? That's an outcome. It hasn't happened yet. I hit over 200 twice this week. Yesterday was 190, 192. So, from a longevity standpoint, it does not make any sense, as it is very similar to steroid use. I made a note here, because if you're injecting a peptide, a GHK peptide, I think it's kind of like steroids. It's not good, because you're basically removing your body's ability to actually create the peptide naturally. using the amino acids and the copper, and they all form together. You want that to happen. If it's not happening, then there's something's causing it, something's preventing it from happening, or you're chronically lacking things that is creating the condition inside your body. So many of us know that the body also adapts and compensates both negatively and positively, both directions. So if you are contemplating or thinking about peptides, injecting them, well, I'm not a fan. Not a fan. Because then you're basically giving your body's power away. You could that turn into a dependence on a situation if your body's not doing it naturally? It's no different than saying, oh yeah, I'm going to have strong muscles, but I don't want to put in the work to create the condition. It doesn't work that way. Your body, you want it to adapt in a positive way, not a negative way. Take the nutrients away, and guess what happens? You start losing bone density, you start losing muscle mass, you start, like there's just, it's a dominoes effect of negativity. It never stops once it starts. So what are you doing? What choices are you making? Choose wisely. And this is why the X39 provides and triggers the spark to ignite that fire inside the body. This guy right here. Now, since there is a spark for GHK, there's also a spark to generate AHK, which is the alanine version. It's harder to detect and measure in the blood, which is another peptide that your body formulates, and it is different than the GHK. The fuel for AHK is alanine, histidine, and lysine. So when the body is triggered to ignite the fire, AHK combines with copper as well from food sources to make the AHK Cu peptide. And when measuring it, it's harder to detect, but you reap the performance enhancements, which can be considered momentary upgrades. Much like getting the star in Super Mario video games is when you know it has been formulated inside the body. So AHK, I've got that right here. This is the X49. Been wearing it for about 20 minutes now. And is that triggering the body to produce AHK, copper peptide? One of the things I like to do is snack on peanut butter and the dates, as I described earlier. I also had quinoa last night for dinner with chicken and salad, a little bit of pickled beets. So does the combination of those sources of food mold together, and when I add another conductor, not the copper, but the water, do I feel the benefits of the choices that I make the following day? Well, I would think so. Because when I do the fitness stress testing last weekend, Saturday, I did kind of my similar things. I think I had quinoa either the day or two before. I was able to reach the performance benchmark that I set for myself back in December. And it took 12 weeks for me to get it, to actually be able to do it. I got close to reaching that benchmark in January and in February. But I was close, but I couldn't get it. And then this past weekend, boy, was I happy. Finally able to do what I wanted to do. It was very rewarding for myself because of how hard I've been trying, and to be able to reap the benefits from the additional use, the upgrade of the X49, validated for me that I know what I'm doing now. So if you want to have, performance upgrades, I'm showing you that it works. And my fitness stress testing is validating that the AHK CU has been ignited. So when the difference of less than 1% from making a team, for example, or not making a team exists, one needs to make sure that you maximize your choice. Choose wisely. The X49 is an optional and additional spark that ignites that fire inside your body. So when I say unlock your bioenergy, power your body with the best, I believe it is. But it's not the only thing that you need. You need to have the fuel. And the choices that you make in combination with the X39 and the X49 will dictate or determine how good the outcome is. Now, am I seeing a plateau? Am I reaching a plateau? I keep upping the ante, and which I will do this weekend for the fitness stress test. So tune in on Saturday for another episode with me to see how things go when I apply the knowledge that I'm teaching you here for free. What's not free is this stuff. It's not free. Neither is drinking the water, because you have to make it. There's no other way around it. Either you get somebody to do it for you, or you buy the machine yourself and do it yourself, as I do. People say, oh, water is water. There's differences, and there's nothing you can say to convince me otherwise, because I have all my own records and receipts and the evidence here, almost a year's worth of evidence to prove to you that what I'm saying is legitimate. So if you want the best, right there, start with that. You won't go wrong. So, without further ado, let's get on with the workout today. Phil is messaging. Hi, Phil. I hope you liked today's episode if you're watching. And let's feel the effects of the X49 and the X39. So, today's workout, start with the warm-up. Yesterday I did legs, and I can feel them today. The hamstrings, they hurt. They're hurting. But that's not going to stop me from warming up the body. And then today's workout is shoulders, rotators, and traps. Okay, see the screen. That's good. And let's begin. I can feel the calf muscles today as well. I can feel the muscle tears, if you want to call it. No, let's go. Forgot to turn the timer on. The weather outside today is snowing. Really? Oh my goodness. I'm going to switch to the other rope today. I don't know why. I'm just going to do it. All right, double unders, and here I go. All right. All right, I can smell the production of the AHK copper peptide. I can smell it. Now that my body has circulated all the blood and the oxygen and the hydrogen, I can sense the I can sense it. And obviously you can tell my heart rate really high, but still able to maintain the pace, which in itself is actually pretty impressive. My breathing rate is really relaxed, so my body is able to deliver the oxygen at really high levels, fast levels. And you can see my heart rate, how it has recovered nicely. So there is a direct correlation to how fast you breathe and how your body delivers the oxygen. So that your body can perform. A lot of people think, oh, he's not going that fast, not hard. Well, you also don't see how fast I'm breathing either. So that's why I've been saying I prove to you that my VO2 results are, or my VO2 max numbers are really good. Okay, get on with the shoulder workout today. So, starting with, I need the remote. I'm going to do the face pull, starting with that. Alright, I think that's where I need to be. I'm going to crisscross the bands. Okay. There we go. It's good. And let's begin. Start grabbing the green band and the red. So this exercise, I'm targeting the rear deltoids. So letting the vibration act as the disruptor. So here, with the crossing the band in front of me, with the anchor point, I wish if I had a wider point, then I would do that. But that would require building another kind of, I guess I could do it, technically. Put the door anchors, customize them in a place where I want to put them. So here I'm just holding the resistance isometrically, slow, negative, don't relax, squeeze it back. Raise the elbows a little bit, lower them. Release. Now complete release. Let some blood flow back in to the muscle. Now squeeze it out. I can feel when it happens. Because you can sense the change. So let it flow back. Now explosive and another explosive. Another explosive. Another one. 3, 4. So, by doing the explosives, you're activating the type 2 muscle fibers in the muscle. So, if your goal is to develop explosive power, if you have a higher concentration of type 2 fibers, you would want to train them. Alright, next up is doing an archer, so I'm going to switch to having the... Okay, that's good. I need the bands here. This one here I'm going to attach to a higher anchor point. Take the other one off and attach it to the post. So I'm doing the, I guess what you call an archer. So this is where I want more tension at the beginning of the motion for the, you want to pull those rear deltoids. Start to, so this is to get the full range of motion, essentially. So, doing it this way. Crisscross the, or I need to make sure that this is kind of I'm in the center. I need to go just a little bit more to the left. There we go. All right. And then crisscross them like this. So having them anchored at the elbows puts a good tension here. So crisscrossing. Now you want to pull them apart, tip out here, and stay in this range. So basically it's sitting there. You can raise your hands up. Yeah. Okay, so tug it here, you tug. So it's kind of like doing a, you know, if you're going to work the scapula, when you're doing a pull-up, you're just strengthening there. Squeeze the scap. And then also the rear deltoids, they get involved. Lower it down. Up. Lock the knees so that way the tension goes all the way up to the shoulders. Feels good. Working those deltoids through the full range of motion, or full range of movement. So there's tension here at the bottom. Pulling it up. Whoa. Feels very good. All right. Next up is the medial deltoid. So that's where I'm going to switch to using the yes. this last time. And this is where I need to grab one of these, put this in the anchor here, and then just kind of lock it like this, so that way I can use the anchor point nicely. Alright, so just gonna see where the kind of the just slightly a little bit more that way. There, that's good. Now I just realized that oh yeah, this is what I'm using. Okay, I'm using the so I'm taking the these bands, I'm going to crisscross them just so it has a little bit more tension at the there we go. Looks good. Alternate these guys, and I'm going to go like this. So by holding it here, getting the full range of motion, movement. You can move your arms like this. Involve the rear deltoid. This could be a combination type exercise. Like I just came up with an idea. So by holding the bands where I'm holding them here, having the tension here, when I'm focusing at the bottom of the rep, pushing my elbow or my shoulder, my elbows down, press down with your fists, force those deltoids, the medial deltoid, to do the work. Really stings. Oh yeah. Really, if there's one muscle in the shoulder, it's the medial deltoid that I like to torture. All right, next up is the switching to the front deltoid. So that's where I'm gonna take the door anchors off this one. So I need to split it. This one here is ready to anchor. Grab him. Off. Alright. So this is going to be for the front deltoid. What time is it? Okay. I'm going to grab the green and attach them onto the reds. One there. Okay. It's good. Let's begin. So now I'm going to do the front deltoids. It's a little bit of a front delts here, so there's activation from the bands pulling behind. I really like to have strong shoulders, largely because of playing my accordion. When my shoulders are strong, it feels good to play. Wow. When you apply the time under tension, it can really make the difference. If you want to build the muscle, oh my. The muscle doesn't know any numbers. It only knows the tension. Oh. All right, next up, rotators. So, grab the pool noodle. See it for distance. It's good. And let's begin. So this is working the rotator. So twist a little bit to get more tension on that rotator. Beginning of its movement. Now here at the end, twist through. Oh my. Gosh. Wow. Gosh. All right, the other side. Now that I torched that side of the rotator, now I'm going to focus on the other side. Probably see the snow in the window. Got about 10 centimeters, which is probably 3 inches, 3-4 inches of snow. This is not comfortable. That's certainly a lot of tension. Alright, last but not least is the traps. So that's where I'm going to take 60 pounds worth of resistance for each side. And you can use free weights if you wish, if your vibration plate can sustain the maximum weight. This one is about 300 pounds. I don't want to be adding another 120 pounds of resistance just for the traps. So this is why I do it this way, and it saves the unit from prematurely failing, which is why I use bands. Okay, so now here, working on the trap. These orange bands are nice and thick, so stepping on them this way is going to take a lot for them to deteriorate. So, but also I want the maximum tension at the bottom of the rep. I want the bands to be towing, so you can see as soon as I straighten up, I have full tension at the bottom of the strap, or the bottom of the rep. So here I am, as if I'm, walking down the street, running down the street actually, with like a farmer, building that strength. Laid up all the way up, squeezing. Walking down the street now. There she was, just walking down the street singing. Now, full stretch on the traps, on the trapezius. I can feel it. So just lingering there at the full bottom. Strengthening that muscle. There we go. So, stop the metronome here, do a quick debrief. So, today's date stamp, you see March 12th, 2026. Starting time at 1:23 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And maximum heart rate today, wow, 217. So I hit it again. I'm trying to break it. So, this thing here. So let's just have a look here to see. I started the timer or the recording of the heart rate after I started skipping, so that's why I realized after a minute or so, I thought, wait a minute. So that's why you see it starting at 150. And then hitting over 200 today, 217, and then my recovery just on, what can I say? It's very stellar. So for all those people out there that say, think I'm as real as a heart attack, I am. So 31 seconds there for this zone. Just so I'll zoom in here. So 185 to 206 for 31 seconds. And then for the, wow, and then this heart rate zone stayed from 207 to 218 for 2 minutes and 13 seconds today. So how do you exercise your heart? Can you exercise it like I am doing? Does drinking the cleanest and most absorbable water contribute to the effectiveness of the X49? I think so. So tune in tomorrow for Feel It Friday. It's going to be playing with cards. So I'm going to see how it goes tomorrow. So eat well, rest up, have a good night.